Welcome everyone. I'm starting a series of videos on Azure Databricks. Starting with the basics, we will slowly move into advanced concept. Initially, we will be learning theoretical concepts to strengthen our foundation on this topic. Then slowly we will move towards practical implementations. We will cover practical with different real life scenarios, and I will also create a playlist with respect to interview questions as well. Today we will cover our first topic, that is Introduction to Azure Databricks. So let us understand what is Azure Databricks step by step. First of all, at, it, at its core comes Apache Spark. So at the core of Databricks, there is Apache Spark. So what is Apache Spark? Let us first understand in a few words. Spark is an open source, unified, high performant, general purpose, in-memory distributed computing engine used to process large amount of data. So if you want to process a large amount of data, you need to use Spark if you want to do that efficiently. So now on top of Spark, here comes the Databricks. So what is Databricks? So Databricks actually provides an easy way of working with Spark by providing necessary administrative and management layers. So Databricks is basically a software company founded by the creators of Apache Spark itself. So Databricks provides a web-based platform for working with Spark that provides automated cluster management and IPython style notebooks. You will be having notebooks where you can write your code. With Databricks, your infrastructure will be fast and secure with any custom work in Spark. So with Databricks, your team will always have access to the latest Spark features. So you can leverage the latest innovation from the open source community. And you can primarily focus on your development part rather than on the managing the infrastructure. So it also provides monitoring and recovery mechanisms that automatically recover clusters from failures without any manual intervention. So we will look into it in depth, step by step, in our upcoming future videos. So now we understood there is Spark at the core. On top of it, it is coming Databricks. So now next, on top of Databricks, here comes the Azure. So Azure is Microsoft's cloud computing platform, and Databricks is a fully managed first-party service of Azure that enables an open data lakehouse option within Azure itself. So you can buy Databricks from Microsoft directly, and Microsoft will provide you all the support. You can also use different Azure services along with Databricks. So now you understand how this Azure Databricks come into picture. First, at the core, there is Spark. On top of it, there is Databricks, making it an easy way to access Spark without any complex operations needs to be done. And on top of Databricks, there come Azure, where Databricks is the first party service for Microsoft. So this is Azure Databricks. So now let us understand in a little more depth what is Apache Spark and what are the features of Apache Spark. So first comes it's a in-memory processing. What does it mean? Instead of some slow disk drives, all of your data will be kept in RAM and is processed in parallel. So Apache Spark is a in-memory processing. Second, it's a open source engine. So as Apache Spark is an open source, so distributed processing system are provided very easily to you because it's an open source, and it also has an open source community with contributors from around the globe, and they will be building different features, so you will have access to them. The next is coming APIs in multiple languages. So if you are using Spark, there are different APIs available to run the Spark code. with different programming languages such as Scala, Java, Python, SQL, and R. So any language you know, it will be easy for you to work with Spark. Let's see what's next. Next is Unified Computing Engine. So what is Unified Computing Engine? So Spark comes with packaged with higher level libraries, including support for SQL queries, streaming data, machine learning, and graph processing. So using Spark, you can work with all of those. You can work with SQL, you can work with streaming data, you can work using for machine learning, you can work for graph processing. So that's why it's a unified computing engine. The next feature is it's a fault tolerant. So what does the fault tolerant means? So if any failure occurs, Spark has the ability to continue to function properly. So RDDs, which are resilient distributed dataset, help to achieve fault tolerance through lineage. So as RDD is an immutable dataset, it remembers the lineage of the deterministic operation that was used on fault tolerant input dataset to create it. So suppose any failure occurs, so Spark has the capability of handling that efficiently without any loss. Next, it's lazy evaluation. So what is lazy evaluation? Lazy evaluation is basically a strategy that delays the evaluation of an expression until its value is needed. So in Spark, lazy evaluation means that you can apply as many transformation as you want, but Spark will not start the execution of the process until an action is called. We will look into depth what is transformation, what is action in our future videos. As of now, we just understand the lazy evaluation, that you can apply as many as transformations you want. It will not get executed. It will only get executed once an action is called. Next is it's a distributed computing. So Spark runs in a distributed way by combining a driver core process that split a Spark application into tasks and distributes them among many executor processes that do the work. So everything is in parallel. Okay. And the final one is fast processing. So Spark, as you know, everything is working in memory. So it's very fast. And in this way, you can do your data processing in a very fast manner. So these are all Apache Spark features: in-memory processing, open source engine, multiple language APIs, unified computing engine, fault tolerant, lazy evaluation, distributed computing, and fast processing. So now coming to Databricks. So here is the Spark, as we already know. The core is the Spark. On top of it, Databricks is providing different features. So first of all, Databricks will provide you the cluster management and the cluster related things. So what is Databricks cluster? So Databricks cluster is a set of computation resources and configurations on which you run data engineering, data science, and data analytics workloads such as production ETL pipelines, streaming analytics, some ad hoc analytics, and machine learning. So you can do all of these things using cluster. And there are different cluster options also available. So you can use interactive, all-purpose clusters, those things. Databricks will also provide you workspace and notebooks. So notebooks, you can use the notebooks to run your set of commands. You can write your actual code in the notebooks and can execute those commands. And you have workspace for collaborating. Next come manage Delta Lake. So Databricks also comes with a managed Delta Lake. If you want to use a lakehouse architecture and those things, you can use Databricks very easily. Next is jobs and workflows. So you can schedule different jobs and workflows using Databricks. So workflow is basically Databricks workflow orchestrates data processing, machine learning, and analytics pipelines in a Databricks lakehouse platform. So it has fully managed orchestration services integrated with the Databricks platform, including Databricks jobs to run non-interactive code in your Databricks workspace, and delta-like tables to build reliable and maintainable ETL pipelines. So these functionalities you can have using jobs and workflows. The next is coming as SQL Analytics. So this is a new feature added to Databricks. So Databricks SQL Analytics is basically a Databricks feature that offers its users a simple interface to perform SQL and BI workloads on a data lake. So it provides a SQL native workspace where users can run performance optimized SQL queries. So Databricks SQL Analytics also enables users to create advanced level visualization, dashboards, and also alerts. And it also comes with connectors to BI tools such as Tableau and Power BI to allow for greater collaboration and maximum performance. And next is enterprise security. So using Databricks, you can have an enterprise level security with different security options. The next is database and tables. So Databricks also provide you to create different databases and tables, which you can do it very easily. And finally, ML flow. If you want to work with machine learning, you can use ML flow. So you can see using Databricks on top of Apache Spark, you can have these key features such as clusters, workspace and notebooks, managed data lake, jobs and workflows, SQL analytics, enterprise level security, databases and tables, and ML flow for machine learning. And now we are coming to Azure Databricks. So now we have seen that over Spark there is Databricks. Now on top of Databricks, what features Azure is providing, because Databricks is a first party service of Azure. So you are getting the Azure portal. Directly from Azure portal, you can create a Databricks workspace and work with it. Second is Azure Data Services. So Databricks provides high-speed connectors to different Azure data services such as Azure Data Lake, Azure Blob Storage, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure SQL Database, Azure Synapse. So it's very easy to work with this if you are using Databricks within Azure. The next is Azure Data Factory. So you can easily integrate Azure Data Factory along with Databricks using notebooks. So it will be a very easy way to access it. The next is Azure DevOps. If you want to work with CI/CD pipelines, it will provide you a very easy option using Azure DevOps to work with Azure Databricks. Next is Azure ML. If you want to work with machine learning, you can use Azure ML. Next is Azure Active Directory. You can have the option of single sign-on while working with Databricks through Azure Active Directory, and you will be having an unified billing. So, being a first-party service, you will directly use Databricks from Microsoft, and Microsoft will provide you all the support. So, you will be getting a unified billing. So, no separate billing is there. Finally, you can also connect with Power BI. These are the key features. Apart from this, there are also other features as well. Those features we will look into our future videos. So this is as a whole is Azure Data Factory. Thank you all for joining. Let's move towards our next videos. Thanks again.